Hey, this is Daniel with PwnCNC, and today we're going to talk about an air assist. Essentially, my laser came with a little pond pump here, and it works really well. It pumps out 2 to 3 psi, I believe. I think that's what I've read. I haven't actually tested it myself, but that's not really a whole lot for what I'm needing, which is to cut 3/8 inch acrylic. I need something a little more powerful. So we're going to switch to a full-size air compressor. There's a tiny little quiet air compressor in there. It's roughly, 12 gallons, I believe. But it's in a nice little enclosure, keeps it nice and quiet. It could actually be running right now and we'd never notice. But let's jump into it. Hey guys, we're back, and I wanted to talk about where I started with this project. So with regards to the air assist kit, I wanted something that was nice and easy, plugged into my machine, and actually the laser itself, the Rudia controller, would hook right into the controls for the air output, so that when the actual laser is turned on to actually start burning and cutting, the air assist would trigger as well, so that both turn on at the same time and then does its thing and then turns off. So whenever it's jogging around the machine or around my part, I wanted the air assist off. And the main reason for that is the whole reason for the air assist kit in the first place, to extend the life of your compressor. And essentially, a compressor is not really supposed to be running, 24/7 non-stop kind of thing. It's supposed to jump on for, 20 minutes and then stop for like an hour or 30 minutes or an hour kind of thing. Give the engine and the components a rest before it kicks on again. The only way to do that is with a traditional compressor without, so whenever you are using your compressor, you're removing air from the tank. And whenever the tank gets down to a certain level, the motor kicks on, the pump kicks on and starts pumping more air into the tank. Now what you're going to do is, if you've got that air turned on the entire time, the tank constantly drains. So with the air assist kit plugged into the machine and turning on only when the laser turns on, you're not draining the pump or the tank the entire time. You're draining it in little spurts. And the idea is over the extension of your cut, so whenever you're doing your engraving or your cutting, it turns on and off, on and off, on and off, which is much more like what a traditional air tank is supposed to be used with. Whenever you're using tools, a nail gun or a ratchet or whatnot, they're little spurts of use, not constant use. So that basically simulates that within the air assist kit, simulates that within your laser. Now many places have got air assist kits available. I know there's one on Amazon made from cheaper parts and such. And the kit that I chose to go with was from another maker here on Facebook. That's from the Chinese Laser Air Assist Upgrades and Support. So Matthew Ross on there is a great guy, good communications. I would highly recommend working with him. He will help you with your kit, make sure, provide you instructions, provide you with the actual components, and we'll talk about the components actually right now. I'll jump over to another video where I recorded that earlier. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the parts that are available that came in this air assist kit. And we're not going to use everything because the FL690 actually comes with quite a bit of what we need. We've got obviously a couple of components here. This allows us to either have a manual or an automatic shutoff. Basically, this thing gets plugged into the Rudia controller. It has an on-off switch here, which basically means we're either air assist on or air assist auto. And if it's auto, that means the Rudia controller itself will get to decide whether it's turned on or not, which then allows you to run G-code have G-code commands which turn on and off the air assist. The in is actually that black wire underneath, or that black hose that comes underneath that came from our dryer. It goes in here, goes through all this this electronic piece here, and then of course right out to the head of your laser. I've already installed the water separator. Here, in fact, I'll show you that right now. There it is right there. I just mounted it right above the input and took the input straight from here directly into the air dryer. Basically, water will basically start to collect here. Of course, I've got a compressor that has one of these already built into it, so the air that's coming through this line will be exceedingly dry already. This is just a backup dryer for, in my case, and probably in your case too, depending on what type of compressor you purchased. Then, of course, the original hose that was originally plugged in down here, I've plugged it into the side of the dryer. So now any air that comes through here will be dried. At a very minimum, that's what you should do to your CNC, or I'm sorry, to your laser. Obviously, there's the pond pump and all that. You could still have the pond pump coming in here. Send it through a dryer. That'll make it nice and dry whenever it gets to the actual material, and then up into the thing. So even if you do absolutely nothing, add one of these. I mean, trust me, just add one of these. I just took some simple drilling, drilled it through, got some M5 screws right through the back, nice button head screws so it's nice and flush back there. Come right in here, some locking M5 nuts, and yeah, it's good to go. And of course I can control the pressure valve here, as far as how much pressure gets to the, there you go, there it goes. So I've got my air compressor turned on right now, and I can actually control that pressure from right here, which is perfect because all I gotta do is just pull this panel down, access this little knob, and I can control how much additional pressure goes to the nozzle head. Now, obviously this comes over, and this black tube here actually goes over to the control system. Here we are with the side panel open. We've got the air assist line coming in. This is from the dryer. I basically cut it right about this junction, wiring junction here, so there's plenty of room on either side to pull it down and to hold on to the kit. The kit, of course, came pre-wired as discussed earlier. The input line comes right in. We've got our output line right out the back. He's got it nice. Matthew's got it nice and labeled. We've got our control for our power switch here. He's already got this portion wired as well. All you got to do is just plug it right in. This goes into the CN1. That's assuming you've got a similar controller like I do, which is the RDC 6445G. That's what I've got here. It was a simple plug-in right there. The other wire comes out, which is the auto, or the manual versus auto switch. I've mounted that up here on the top. That way it's nice and easy. I don't have to bend over very far to grab it. I usually leave it straight on auto air. That way I can control it from the software. It seems to be pretty perfect for everything that I do. Okay, so here we are with the close-up. I've been running this air assist kit for a little while, and I wanted to discuss one little upgrade that I did that did not come with the kit, but you can pick it up pretty easily off from Amazon. So if you look really closely, here's where the input or the output line that's coming from the kit down in the controller box is coming out to the head of the laser. Now I've got a little bit of dirt here, to ignore that. Actually, I think it's acrylic dust. It gets pretty dusty whenever I'm cutting a lot of acrylic. But what I've done was I split that line that goes into the head and added a control or a manual switch here. So the reason I did this was I noticed that even with the kit, there was still a small amount of air coming out to the head, even when the switch was plugged in and it's off and that sort of thing. When it's just sitting there idle, there's air sitting out. So if I'm changing out acrylic sheets or something like that, changing out my cuts, my stock material, I've got air pumping out of that thing, which of course triggers my compressor to run. So what I've done was add this little switch here. I can turn that off. That lets my compressor fully charge up, and that way whenever I go to start my next cut, it's pretty easy. I'll have a link in the description for this particular piece, as well as the kit and all that stuff. So hopefully that process, I didn't walk through the exact plugging everything up. I figured you guys know how to cut a tube and plug things together. Drilling a hole in the side of a machine isn't that it's super exciting, but yeah, if you can see, if you notice, I've got a rotary video coming up soon. Let's go ahead and jump over, and I will leave you with the air assist kit running, and let's monitor one of my cuts. I'll go ahead and set it up, burn in or engrave in some stuff that really needs the air assist, that it can assist with the engraving. I'll engrave my logo on a piece of wood. How about that? Keep it nice and simple. But that way you can actually see the kit in action and actually hear the noises and how I've been able to keep the noise pretty low for getting the air assist, the air extraction, and all that stuff. So yeah, let's jump into a cut. And don't forget, this is Daniel with PwnCNC, and don't just own your CNC, dominate it.